If you've ever trained hard, eaten clean, and still struggled to get lean without losing muscle or feeling wrecked, this video is what you've been looking for. Today I'm breaking down the exact blueprint we use to help Austin lose 18 pounds, get legitimately shredded, and actually maintain it, not just for a photo, but for months after. This isn't theory. This is the same method we've used with over 50 people, and I'm going to walk you through it step by step so you can see what works and why. So here's Austin. He is a financial advisor, and he came to me last January and was in a spot where he was just not happy with where he was at. He had, not been working out consistently. Knew what to do. Played hockey. Used to play hockey at university, and then really just kind of was in a spot where he was looking to make a change. So Austin came in, and the first thing that we did right away is we got all his information. Okay, how much do we want to lose? When do we want to lose it by? And really, what his goal was to get shredded. So I'm gonna explain to you the method and kind of the thought process behind what we were doing here as I come over here. See, a lot of people think that the reason that they're losing fat is because they exercise super hard and they cut a ton of calories. When the truth is, we really want to use our BMR, our metabolic rate, and our metabolism to burn those calories, because that's going to be 60 to 70% of where we burn our calories. So if you're familiar with the channel, you know this is what we do: metabolic priming. We believe in raising food and raising your metabolism to make it so that you don't have to get into these crazy 1600, 1700, 1800 crash diets with hours of endless cardio, right? So the thermic effect of food is going to help as well with the macros that we have, but the biggest thing is going to be that metabolism. So this is, as you can see, we took Austin from, he's slightly bloated to just, shredded down. You can see his back especially. Look at this, just tight to the muscle, dialed, strong, and completely cut him up with his core. So where we started was January, and I showed you just some of his metrics here. When he came to us, we actually didn't even need to do a priming phase because he was already at a spot where he had, he was eating, wasn't really tracking what he was eating, and was eating more than he needed to be eating. So his metabolism wasn't in a spot where he came to us and he had been grinding, trying to get out of this hole of cardio and endless grinding. I keep saying that word. It's just true though. People get in this hole, and that's what most people, they come to us and they've been trying to cut weight, and then they add carbs and they freak out, gain weight, so then they go back into this cycle of just having zero energy, being flat, and then just being really upset with how they're looking. So I'll give you an idea. Here's a couple days. We started him off around 2,500, and he slowly went down. Now these aren't super accurate, these other graphs, but the goal was 200 protein, 168 carbs, and then 57 grams of fat. Okay, so those are the macros that we started him out on. If you guys are wondering exactly, that's where we started him. And so you can see here a weekend, and honestly, and I'll say this is probably a lot of you out there. It was to the point where Austin didn't even want to take the pictures initially, right? Because he was so disappointed with where he was at. And you might be in that spot too, and we've all been there. I've been there before too, where you don't even want to look at it, but that's the first step, right? That's the first step to really acknowledging, man, this is not how I want to look. And not waiting till you take your shirt off and it's kind of embarrassing, in the back of your head, you're like, dang, like, you just ignore it. It's okay. Everyone says it's okay, but within you, you're not operating at your full potential. So here's a weekend. That's what we started them out on. And usually that's what we start people out on is 1 to 1.2 grams of protein per pound of body weight, 0.3 grams of fat, money. And then we backfill carbs from there, depending on what their maintenance is. And for Austin, it was right around that 2,200, 2,100 mark. And like I said, he already came to us in a pretty good spot where we didn't need to prime him. Okay, so let's go look at, how this progress went with the weight. So you can see here, it lines up with the photos. He started at 194 and got up to 195. Now, remember, whenever you're tracking your weight, guys, it's all about weekly average. People get so caught up in these ups and downs. And any time in life that you're looking to make progress, it's never linear. There's going to be ups, there's going to be downs. And that's just the truth of it. So if we look at the whole, this is what it looks like in the end. Okay, so this is not the whole picture. Here we go. March, and then, yeah, there we go. So we went He dropped down to, he's about 187 going into March, and then dropped all the way down into May. We got down to just above 168. And then got back up to 176 because it was going to be a muscle gain phase. So I'm going to talk you guys through like not only the shred, but also the reverse diet back. A lot of people don't talk about a reverse diet enough and how important that is. They did a study. I say this study over and over again, but they did a study with the Biggest Loser contestants, and almost all of them gained the weight back, and their metabolism was crushed by like 20 to 30% for years after. So it's all about doing things the right way, and sometimes you want to go fast, but you can't. So let's look, and honestly, Austin stopped taking the pictures for a little bit there just because that's what we were doing, and boom, it popped. In April, it popped. Look at the way everything started to carve out. I mean, a lot different than that first photo, right? A lot different. And this is, like I said, right around that 1900 calorie mark. And I'll be honest with you guys too, it wasn't perfect. I'm going to show you guys what his calendar looked like. This is where we started. So you can see we got the lift, we've got the walking. He was playing a little bit of hockey still, so that was a really good way for him to still get cardio in a fun way. Also, like for us, a lot of times we drop cardio to zero because we get these people coming in that have been just crash dieting and all this stuff. But with him, like I said, we were in a good spot. We could do this. We added a little bit of core on the weekend. The core destroyer. Anyone who's worked with me knows, that's no joke. And then you can see just consistently, look at him logging his weight, logging his food. Some of these for sure were missing a little bit. He was not eating 1200 calories, but yeah, like 2100. This is where we were starting and just getting a feel on things and how to log. Now, like I want to show you this though. Look at this week. He was traveling, right? He had trips. He had these things that came up. And what do? We made a plan, because guess what? You can't wait until you're not busy. When are you not going to be busy? Especially the people that watch these videos. You are the high performers, you're the business owners, you're the managers, you're the elite athletes. Like, when are you going to have time? You have so many other demands, you have a family, you have goals, right? You need support in the busiest times. That's how you make it through. And that's what we did. We always had a plan. We always had a system to make it easy to buy back time. And so this is what really a calendar looks like. It's really not complicated, guys, but it gets results like this in April already. So we got down in April and all the way to the point where we basically talked, and at about May area, we really wanted to, we did 12 weeks. So that was the 12 weeks to April. And then we did another 12 weeks a little bit later. And what he wanted to do was build some muscle and still not lose fat. So I'm going to show you guys how we did that. So you can see here, it starts to really freaking lean out. I mean, this is pretty incredible. 5'6", really, really good. If we go over to the graphs here, right, we look in May. Yeah, we're getting down to that 170 range. So he just keeps shedding weight, shedding fat. And guess what? We're losing weight and we're adding more food. How does that work? That's a really good question. Cortisol. There's a thing called cortisol, stress hormone. And for a lot of people, when you're in this cut, when you add the food back, it lowers that cortisol and allows your body to do what it does, which is run more efficiently. Stress just creates more inflammation, and that it makes it harder for your body to burn that fat. What it does is it actually holds on to the fat, because the fat, it sees it as a survival mechanism. So when you're doing these crazy cuts, is what it looks like. So we added food here. It's kind of all mixed up here. Whoops. Boom. Here's what it looked like, really. Yeah. So we were adding quite a bit of food. You guys can see added a little bit of protein as well. I just wanted to keep upping them. And then he wanted to do a little bit of cut at the end of summer. And that's what we did. So this was the final picture that we took together in the summer. I mean, look at this. This dude's got freaking, not only did we cut all this fat, we got super shredded, but then you can start to see like we're putting on more and more muscle, and that's where we get the result like this. Okay, so I raise, usually as a base, what I'll do is we'll cut people 25 carbs a week as a base once we're cutting, and then depending on these different biological signals that we're getting in the check-ins, and so we look at strength, we look at hunger, we look at energy, we look at wearable data. If someone has wearable data, we'll look at those metrics, and that'll allow me to understand, okay, when do we make those adjustments? You can see here what we started to do is boom, we were down here, we got down to that one down to that 169 in June, And then I raised up carbs, and you can see we get to the point where we add 7 pounds. Now, does weight really matter for a lot of people? No, it doesn't. It doesn't, unless you're training for the NFL Combine or your pro day. It doesn't really matter. What matters is how you look, and look at how he looks. And we're adding food, so he's feeling good, looking shredded. This is what I'm saying. It is possible to be shredded all year round. You don't have to be in this crash diet where you're just destroying your energy. Okay, so I'm going to finish this off with just really breaking down this method. We've talked about in other videos before, but the key is metabolic adaptation. What does this mean? Okay, so you burn a certain amount of calories. Those are your maintenance calories. You've heard about those probably by now. And what we're doing is making sure we're not destroying this. So when we're working with Austin, this is what some people would do, and they really would mess people up. If you go into extreme caloric restriction, your BMR drops. All these different other diets you're doing, keto, carnivore, like your BMR drops. Carbs are good. Carbs not only give you those glycogen stores for you to have really good training sessions, but they're supposed to be your fuel for your sessions. And what we can do is we can use them as the gas pedal to play with your metabolism. Okay, so I hope this is all making sense. Remember, always comment. If you guys have any questions, DM me on Instagram. If you have any questions, I'll make videos. I'll answer you guys back easy. So the issue is people get high cortisol. They have systemic inflammation, and you get bloated. And so that's honestly like the issue. And here's what I really want to talk about, right? Like, okay, yes, we got Austin shredded, but not only that, we gained him muscle. And this is the same body fat percentage, right? The difference is this guy weighs 20 more pounds, 30 more pounds, right? So what we want to do is gain that muscle, and muscle mass is going to be the key to your longevity, right? When we look at this, it's just straight from Google. This is going to be the biggest thing for your longevity, and they show that muscle mass sustaining that. So not only that, when you have more muscle, it takes 8 calories to sustain 1 pound of muscle, as opposed to 2 calories to sustain 1 pound of fat. Okay, so we use these carbs. This is the whole method, and we've gone over this so many times before. We use the macros the correct way. And what happens when we do that, new way versus the old way, right? Most people are cutting, and never get to where they want to go. What we do is, you can see with Austin, we came in, we started in the cut. Then we went to a little bit of a maintenance. We started to add food, and that was our reset, and then we could cut again. And this is where we get results like this. So if this is you, if you've been just grinding and there's no end in sight, you're really discouraged, this is like just normal. I mean, we've done this with over 50 people, and if you guys need help, just DM me. We can have a conversation on Instagram. If you guys want I also have a GPT that we use for all our clients. And what they do is they just ask questions whenever they have any questions about their nutrition, their training, or macros. And you can input when we do our gut blood DNA testing. That's just a game changer to your overall performance and health. So this is what we do. Let me know if you guys have any questions. I hope it broke it down super simply for you guys, and you understand how you can do this yourself. I really just want to see you guys get shredded and have the best bodies that you can have, and really reach your ultimate potential. Our mission here is to impact our family trees through our fitness, because literally every single time that you work out, that you choose to eat the whole foods, the correct macro splits, that you improve your body composition, not only are epigenetics, which are genetics that are passed down to future generations, are changed when you do these things. So you're literally changing your future kids' lives if you don't have kids, or your kids' lives. And if you already do have kids, or just in general, you're changing the habits of your family, because you guys are the leaders of your family. That's the truth. And they're going to model what you do. And why would you not want to be the healthiest, most energetic, best version of yourself, so that you can not only maximize your income at your career, your business, your job, but also maximize the impact that you make on this earth and maximize your fulfillment in your soul? That's the real goal of all this, okay? Like, subscribe. I'll see you guys in the next video. Keep making it happen. Out.